Right, here we go, guys. We are live on YouTube. Welcome to everybody on the stream already and to each and everyone here on Discord. So, this is going to be the culmination of all the 2-3 days testing of Vulkan versus OpenGL, and I'm going to show you what I've come up with. I've got to explain to you also that I've got two copies of Explain on my system. The one is the beta. Now, if you look at the top right hand corner here at the top, you'll see Explain 11 beta. This is the beta version. The other one is actually the same beta version, but the difference is this folder called beta contains all the test stuff and things like that. So it's rather vanilla Explain. You can see on the screen there all the little red blocks signify stuff that's been turned off. So I'm going to talk you through that just now. So the Explain 11 that's in the normal Explain 11 folder without the beta designation, that's my normal one. That's the one we usually fly, usually display. It's got all the bells and whistles and everything else. And at the end of the day, after the last 2 days of testing, that one only works with OpenGL satisfactorily. The Vulkan in it is shocking bad. I don't want to hear anything about Vulkan in it. It's just too much. But what I did was, after sitting and discussing this in depth with McTrying and Paul and some of the other guys here, Christer's also instrumental, I went back to the basics and I said, okay, let's take the second copy of Explain. We're going to switch off the third party stuff as much as possible. But we obviously human, we still want a little bit of eye candy, so let's play around with it, and essentially that's what we're going to look at now. Let me show you what I did. I currently only have, and I do apologize for color perception problems if you do have color perception problems, but basically that's green, and it says that European airports are on. So I've got a whole list of them. Most of them are payware. All right, so there are a lot of money involved in these ones, so we're gonna just keep them there. North America, South America, Asia, Africa, and all the True Earth airports are all disabled. All the Orbex True Earth stuff. Doesn't matter if it's in Europe or not. I've just decided I'm gonna go back to vanilla, so no Orbex. In the default, all the ones that, like Brussels, for instance, I don't want the default stuff. If I have an add-on, which I do have for Brussels, let's check there, the Just Sim one, then obviously I went and I disabled the Brussels from default. That is what is shipped with Explain. So some of them are duplicates and they are obviously off. The demo airports, I can actually switch Seattle off as well. We don't care for Seattle because we're flying in Europe, so it just doesn't matter of interest. It's easy enough. You just click on it and click again. When it changes color and it goes to red, um, it changes. If you have a color perception problem, there are people here with us that do have. There is a different way of displaying it, so you either get a on or a off instead of a color. So just bear that in mind if you don't know this tool. This is X Organizer, and it's marvelous what you can do with it. All right, so let's continue. Hello, Bopina. All right, then we've got the airport scenery, regional stuff. I just want to show you, okay, that can actually also go off. Portugal landmarks can stay on. All the Orbix True Earth stuff is switched off. There's no Orbix True Earth stuff running here. The normal landmarks, I'm not worried about them. That's default Explain landmarks. They don't show up when you fly in Europe, so I'm going to leave them. We can put that one away. Um, in terms of the global buildings and objects, this is all the extended night lights. Okay, so this only comes into play at night, that one. X Africa is a beta from Sim7, so I've disabled that one just in case. All right, but I am running X Europe. I want to see the influence of X Europe on the system, so that is running. And then obviously all my libraries are on, and all the overlays and orthos and stuff, they are all off. Another thing which you might not know about is under your extra tools there, you can go to your ground traffic. I went and I disabled all the ground traffic, all the little cars and all the little fancy things running around at the airports. This is a function of this program. I can actually switch most of it off. I have noticed that some of it does not switch off, but most of it is off. While we were doing this test flight, I actually noticed that Flight Tampa, the actual ground services, were called on when I was at 35,000 feet flying the same route somewhere over Europe, almost at top of descent, and I mean, it's crazy. I don't know why Flight Tampa didn't put a lock on it and kept it into their own little region, but it happened. Whether it's an explained problem also, I don't know. I'm not a senior guy. I don't know. I just noticed. I mean, I don't need them in Europe. Okay, so that's all been disabled. In terms of the plugins, SkyMax Pro as well as the Real Weather Connector have been disabled. So I've set up my Active Sky. And the depiction modes is off. It is not using the Sky Max Pro depiction mode at this point in time. I've used the textures. I installed the performance textures that comes with your Active Sky. So we're going to have a kind of a different atmospheric condition situation. Also, what I did was, before I did the installation of these textures, obviously, I ran the Explain installer and I just made sure that I got rid of any and every cloud and um, you know sky color changes that was made by SkyMax. I literally went back to vanilla on that one. All right, I've disabled Nimbus. That's also an American one. That one also kept on coming up in our test that we did, and we're flying in Europe. We're not even close to Atlanta. It's only one place that I know of where it works currently in my system, and that's Atlanta. So we don't need that. Hello, Loney. I'm going to fly the Zebo as always, version 16. I haven't updated it in the show notes. I just remembered. But yeah, it's going to be Zebo 16. Right, all the other stuff, I've disabled a heck of a lot of stuff. Just the basics remain. Um, also, only IVAO is active, nothing else. All the data links are up, and then the scripts. Something interesting, which I haven't used in a while, but I'm going to use in this flight, is Usher. I did change my settings, and the LFD's auto view distance thing. I want to see if that thing actually works. Some of the guys here are very enthusiastic about it. So, Krista, you can give your input on that as we fly as well. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's basically it. Mac, you yeah.
Yeah.
Just wanted to tell you, I've never really used the aircraft, but I did find a use for the aircraft section in here. If you go to Tollers, for instance, there's my A319. Look, there's a version for Explain 10. I can actually disable it and it doesn't come into my view, in the picking list. So I just thought I'd show you that one. That was kind of handy because that thing always comes up with a question mark in your aircraft selector. So just as a matter of interest, FYI and all those things. Right.
Well, presumably, if that's an Explain 10 version, that one's deleting Nico.
What happens is they give you both. It's up to you what you do with it. So what I'm saying is use X organizer, just disable it right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so let us go to explain then. Let's fire up. Right, so for the record, over here you can see it's 51 beta 2, and in the graphics you can see Vulkan is on, and that is my settings. Right, Dublin 121, start the flight. Dream virtual flight, yes. Dream virtual flight, it depends on your CPU, I think. I don't have much of an impact currently. If I go to the map, the actual SDKP map, there's like a 2 or 3 or 5 FPS drop, but not more than that. Dan has really optimized it nicely now. But I don't use that map, so I don't mind. Just make sure you're on the latest version of SDKP, because there were a couple that had memory leaks in them a version or two ago. Ooh, I see Uncle John is trusting Linda with that aircraft. I'm not so sure. Eh? Ah, there he is. I see you're
No,
actually there.
yeah, I'm doing myself a sandwich. I've told her to not touch anything.
Okay. You can change the map as far as I know. You can take it off the black and put it onto like a Google image, and you must just find the settings. Go play with it a little bit. There are various different maps you can choose from, or there used to be. Like I said, I didn't use it, but in the old days we had like 5 or 6 different options we could choose from. It's obviously building the new airport database now, so we must just be patient. Have a coffee, guys. I don't know, Dream Virtual Flight. You're gonna have to play because your system is different than mine, first of all. And I've already said I don't use it, so mine's just on default. Currently, I didn't change anything there. There we go. Just skip through that process. Right, so compared to the previous Vulkan stream where I was getting around about, I think, 35 to 40, and by the time we did our pushback, we were doing 19 and 20. This looks already much better. So I'm going to use the developer menu, reload the aircraft and art, so we don't have to restart explain, and then we'll see what happens then. You're welcome. Hello, Adil. Right, there we go. So nice frames now.
Hello Cap. My name is Linda. I am your first officer today.
Yes, Uncle John, I agree. X-Organizer is a must-have for me. I can't live without it. It really doesn't work for me not to have it. No, sir, I am not Russian. I am from South Africa. True, Christer. Good one. Right. Let's just quickly get the position and then we'll go do the loading and the planning of the route and all. STKP, there we go. So that is the route this will be the 7th time that we fly this route. Adil, you need to buy her or you need to come and visit this stream on Saturday. We're going to give away 2 licenses, one in the morning, one in the evening, but otherwise if you can't wait you can purchase her from the org store. Her name is Linda, so you can just go and look for Linda and you know, just buy her there. She's $15, I think, if I recall correctly. Ooh, what did you type? Dream Virtual Flight. I see you got knocked there. Be careful. The word God is blacklisted. You can't use the word God and you can't swear. A couple of words has been listed and you cannot post any links to websites. So if you guys do any of that, you're going to get your messages deleted. So you'll have to start from scratch. Awesome, Pepka. That sounds cool. Alright, what did we want to do? We wanted to do our planning. Alright, so I've already checked the weather. Mac was good enough to check the weather for us there in Brussels. We're going to land runway 01 at this moment. According to the weather, we're taking off runway 28 in Dublin. Alright, I just want to make sure that I do export the correct plan then. Yep, we can overwrite that one. Then I want to go and copy it and take it into STKP for some brief.
Everybody.
Hello. I'm going to be sooner than that, man. Something like that. What application do you use for the route plan? The first one is this one. This is Navigraph Desktop Charts. It's the simulator version of Jefferson combined with this extra utilities the guys built in there, this map features and all. So that's the first thing. I then copy it. We're going to put it into this application, which is part of the same thing. Everything is integrated. So we're going to put the information in here. and it will then go to SimBrief for setting up. Dream virtual flight negligible, maybe 1 or 2 maximum, and it's only sometimes. It's only when she actually operates. As she's sitting there, cost is negligible on my system. $141 and 1.4. 141. Oh, come on. How can I not find the right key? 1.4. So that's the cargo, and on top of the baggage, that's the passengers. We're going to use Brussels Schaller. What's the alternate? We've done all of this. Since Dan changed the sequence, I'm kind of having to concentrate a little bit more. Right, 35, let's generate this plan. So at this point in time, it's sending the information to SimBrief. SimBrief will do the calculations and return the OFP to us. Yeah, Pipka, a lot of guys have said that, but it's not going to happen that easy. Right, I'm pre-filing on iVayo. If any of you guys want to fly with on iVayo, you guys are welcome. Yes, I'm creating the flight plan as you saw there. So what happens is when you click on that last button I did, it actually sends the information to SimBrief. SimBrief does what it needs to do, and then it brings it back into STKP for us, as you will see now. So I'm going to click on fly now, and there you go. Now what happens is all these things, this is the SimBrief OFP, and all of this is the STKP side of things on the left hand side. So ooh, Krister,
Sir,
I see the bot deleted your message there. Just make sure you don't have a full stop and a letter after a full stop, because it also sees that as a link. So just check that message of yours and then repost it.
negative, sir. Just seen the message. If you like this stream and so on, that's me, and that's the bot.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is the bot is not very intelligent, and I've noticed sometimes if you put a dot and a letter next to each other, full stop and a letter, it sees it as a website and then it blocks it. So send me the message here in Discord. I'll quickly check it and then we can post it again.
But I didn't send any message, sir. That's the strange thing.
Is it?
I did not send anything. I didn't send anything.
Okay, all right. Well, that's very strange. Very strange.
Very strange. Yeah, you can check your log later on, but I did not send anything. I promise you.
Okay, all right. Okay.
You can check your log.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to waste time on that. Don't worry about it. I just thought I'd help you because that's usually what happens.
Yeah, I know that, sir.
Right, so what we're going to do is the load. 16.1. Feel 6.1. Yeah, thanks, Paul. Ideal, there are plenty of flight planning tutorials on my channel. You're welcome to go and have a look. We have done almost 700 videos on the channel already. We're getting there. It's slowly building up to 1,000 now. Steve, I haven't tried that, no. I have not even tried to regenerate icons at this time. Oh, that helps a lot. Alright, so we have 59.2, takeoff weight 65.1, and that says 65.3 because that makes room for our taxi fuel, so that's perfect. Reserves, let's make it 2. Cost index will be 6. Going to be flying 350. -0, that's a good value. Alright, let's go for 32, takeoff 1 and a good climb. 31, yeah. Alright, takeoff 5, CG, and let's have a look here. Cut back. Go for it, Papino. That's almost what's the right word? A prerequisite to fly the Zebo properly nowadays to get everything sorted, and the best tool you can do and have for the job and use for the job is SimToolkit Pro, and then integrate everything and have everything right there. One of the nicest things about it is that whole integration. Right, so let's ask this woman to trim this aircraft for us.
Trim up.
I see I'm still pushing 40 frames here, so all good. Right, all set to get it on the same page. overhead time.
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go. Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Need to relink.
Are you doing this online, Nico?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube.
No, I meant Avaya.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Flight attendants prepare for departure across
I
Channel
currently
Alpha.
can't see you yet, that was all.
Okay. Did you set your web eye to show traffic on the ground? Because there's a setting you need to set for that.
No, I'm in...
Oh, hang on a second. Hang on. I made a mistake. No, you're right.
Connected
I'm
and
wrong.
white
I
out
haven't
service.
connected yet.
Release
Sorry.
brake.
Sorry. Thanks for reminding me.
and you've magically appeared.
Yeah. I love it when a plan comes together, eh? I did not make this file yet. Let me quickly go make it. Sorry, I'm just making the plan quickly so we can have it there on that tablet. I'm just in little nav map quickly.
Nico, I'll be back in 5-10 minutes.
Okay. Here we go. another 30 odd seconds to go, then we can push. Gives me enough time to do some of the other stuff. Checks. Right, I need to set up this automatic unicorn quickly. Right, there you are, Mac. I see you in front of me there. Right, automatic unicom is done. Okay, let me just check for ATCs and stuff. No ATCs, but we do have traffic, so let's just see.
Starting push back, and you may start engines.
Engine start procedure.
Engine start procedure. Waiting for the command to start sequence.
Start number 2 engine.
Starting number 2 engine. N2. Starter cutout.
Start number 1 engine.
Starting number 1 engine.
Operation complete. Set parking brake. Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
N2.
Oh, I'm back.
Cool. So I have between 10 and 15 more frames using this simulator and Vulkan than what I have using the other one with all the other bells and whistles running Vulkan.
Starter cutout.
So it's gone up to 37
Engine
there a few
start
times. So
procedure
between
completed.
10 and 17
Tow is
FPS.
disconnected. Unbypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. Well, see you next time and have a safe flight.
Bonjour.
Hey, Torsten.
So you're testing again?
Yes, sir. This time with almost vanilla explained, just with Vulkan and some add-on airports. There's no more orthos, no more orbics, no more additional nothing. If you watch the beginning of the stream,
Flaps
you'll
5
see
set.
we killed it.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if it works now.
We all know it's going to work. Or it's at least much better than the other one. Like I just said, I've got between 10 and 17 extra frames at this very position compared to 2 streams ago. It's crazy.
You have got X-Europe on.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I purposefully switched it on just to see what will happen.
Could have been Orbex all this time.
Yeah, it's not just Orbex. It's also the orthos. It's also X-Europe. It's a whole mixture of things. It's not just one component. At the end of the day, if you want to simplify it, I will simplify it this way. Vulkan is not ready for third-party add-ons in terms of scenery. That's where the problem comes. There's a lot of scenery creators that are going to have a hell of a time updating their scenery to be properly Vulkan compatible, because just because you see it there doesn't mean it's compatible. Just because you see it there doesn't mean it really works. And this is the difference between somebody who thinks he knows and somebody who actually knows. The guys are going to have to come up with a plan to optimize their sceneries for Vulkan, because under OpenGL it works, but that's not the long-term plan.
And
I
there is
wonder if explain.
Go on, Torsten.
I have no idea what. Yeah, I was just going to say. I wonder if explain internally makes use of JPEG 2000 format, and also explain where I know that from and why there is a benefit to it from Second Life. I told you before, in this virtual world where everything you see is online only. It is hosted on servers.
Yeah.
So Linen Lab, the company who operates Second Life, they implemented a texture format for everything in Second Life that it doesn't matter whether you upload a JPEG or a PNG or a TIFF, something like that, it'll always be converted on the server to a JPEG 2000, and the reason is it is lossless compression. So you have texture quality and compression at the same time, which has obvious benefits.
Yeah, sounds good to me, Torsten. Maybe you must send Ben an email and explain to him, or offer your services or something. I don't know. Look, I mean, the guys are going to have to come to the party on both sides. It's not just a one-sided affair. Laminar is going to decide, to set the pace. The other guys are going to have to keep the pace and to join the pace and all these things. So we'll see. But I mean, just in these 3 or 4 days now, 3 days of testing now, we've basically come to the conclusion the third-party guys are in trouble.
They are.
Yeah, the reason I brought this up in the first place was because there are still, though, content creators in Second Life who, let's say, use way too many large textures, which also in that Second Life viewer, which is basically a C++ 3D renderer, also causes problems every now and then, performance issues, so these third-party add-on devs would also have to look into making their things efficient, if it can be done with maybe smaller textures or less textures.
Yeah, one of the things I noted in all the tests we did, and Adil, I'm not ignoring you, I'll answer you shortly when we're done here. One of the things that is very, very prominent in our test data is the fact that airports on the other side of the world, or airports 50 nautical miles from you, are actually being loaded and rendered in memory. Okay, you can't see them, they're not there, but it has an impact on frame rates, it has an impact on the CPU. I mean, we were looking at Flight Tampa, Las Vegas, for instance. What the hell is it loading for in Europe when we're flying in Europe? Okay, that's just
Yeah.
I'm just using them as an example. There are plenty more who does that. There are a lot of Orbex airports, EGPH for instance, that I also saw at one point in time in previous tests. I'm flying in the south of England. That thing is up in Scotland. Why is it loading? So for me, a lot of the optimization simply didn't happen. The guys didn't care for it because it wasn't a problem previously. All of a sudden it is. So they're going to have to revisit their whole way of doing things. Their modus operandi has to change. They need to change the goalposts a little bit. And at the end of the day, if you leave an airport and you leave 10 nautical miles, in real world you're not going to see that airport, so why must you see it in the sim, for instance? You understand?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Exactly my point also, Nico. But there is another way also we must consider even more, and that's when we load on world objects.
Yes.
Because we mostly, in the beginning of our simming careers, we tend to use default airports.
Yeah.
But the more time and experience you get, you gain on freeware airports, you buy payware airports, and you buy add-ons and so forth. But you don't need the world objects anymore because of that freeware already has it built in, So that means if you still are on X-plane setting with high settings of world objects, your frame rates is going to drop like a rock.
Yeah, you, Christopher.
So
Give me a second.
if you have a freeware airport, turn down your world objects, and that will help you incredibly much.
Yeah. No, for sure. Mine is halfway. So just give me a second. Let me do this quickly before takeoff procedure. Adil, you do not switch on TCAS until you get here, unless you put it into standby mode. Now, the way that Linda works is she doesn't put it in standby mode, so that's why I just leave it. We just leave it until here. Because technically, sorry, it's not standby mode, it's auto mode. If you put it in auto mode, the aircraft should know, and it usually does know, that it's only TA that should be on and not RA as well. But we're getting technical now, so we just leave it until now. Also on the IVEO network, unlike VATSIM, they don't like it to be on if we taxing like this. So TUI 242 is in trouble because he has not broadcasted, and I'm literally going to drive right through him now. He spawned right on the runway in front of me, so
Stabilized.
he needs to move.
That's not allowed.
Yeah, that's not allowed. So hang on, let's do it this way. TUI 242. Move off the runway. You are not allowed to spawn on a runway. Alright, so I've given him notice. I'll give him 10 seconds. If he doesn't respond, I'm just gonna go straight to him. Okay.
Stabilized.
Approaching 3, 4.
He's probably a
Approaching
newbie.
runways.
No, obviously he's. That's only a reason why anybody would spawn on a runway. I just hope he's not in FSX or P3D with crash detection on, otherwise he's going to swear at me.
Well, let him swear. He has
On
to learn.
runway
Him too.
The thing is, if he spawned in and logged into IVEO, I mean, if there was air traffic control, they would be giving him
Carrots, yeah.
Takeoff thrust set.
Yeah.
Yeah. 80 knots. Throttle hold. V1. Rotate. Positive rate. Runway turn off, lights off.
Yeah, Steve, I've turned off so many things. This thing is like squeaky clean, almost out of the package. Ooh, that's a bit of a bump we got there. Sorry guys for
Flaps one
interrupting,
set.
but I had to go. I couldn't just stand there, so I had to do my speeches. Didn't want to interrupt that conversation.
Flaps upset.
No worries.
Well, I'm pushing 38, 40 frames. I mean, this is cool. This works for me. And this brings me to that point that Mac made yesterday, that if you use a clean install, Laminar Research is
Approaching
focused on this.
transition.
They've done their job to this point. It works. But the third party guys now need to come to the party. That's all we were discussing. So just to recap.
Exactly. Exactly.
Transition altitude.
But there is one flaw I don't like about X-Plane.
Transition altitude.
And you mentioned it before. And that's about the fact that X-Plane is loading airports hundreds of miles away.
Yeah, or thousands of
And
miles.
that is totally unnecessary. Totally unnecessary.
Christer, look, I'm not a senior developer, so I'll ask Andrew, you know, next time I speak to him. I need to speak to him anyway, right? But as far as I know, coming from FSXP3D, there is a visibility limit that you can set when you design the airport. So each object get a visual range. And as far as I think, this is just an opinion, not a fact, it's just sounds like me that some of the objects are not limited.
Or set very high.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why I use a small add-on on my flights all the time. LFD out of view distance.
I've actually got it running now, Christer. It is running currently.
Yeah. I have set it kind of cheap, you know, because it prevents X-Plane from loading airports and objects from the horizon and back to the aircraft.
Gotcha.
And you can actually set the distance in percentage, not in distance miles, but in percentage. You can set how far away you want the objects and airports to load into your X-Plane. And that is very neat. And that, for my old computer with an i5 and 8GB RAM, that is excellent add-on for me. Exactly what I need.
Gotcha.
Nico, how do you send a message to another aircraft in IBAO?
.chat space call sign message, and that will open the private message section. .chat space call sign space message.
Thank you.
Okay. Steve, don't be sorry for asking questions. The more you guys talk on the stream, the more I see you enjoy the stream. There's no point in us not talking together, so please feel free to ask. Okay, so yeah, like I typed there while the chat was going on, I removed SkyMax Pro and the real weather connector just as a test. I mean, it's still installed, it's just disabled. I can always put it back. So what I did was I ran the X-Plane installer. I replaced all the clouds and the atmosphere and all the textures related. And then what I did was afterwards, then I installed the Active Sky clouds that you get with Active Sky. These are Active Sky performance clouds that you guys see right now. So I just want to do this test first before we start adding too many things again. Chances are very good SkyMax Pro is not part of the problem, but who knows? You know, that's why we're doing these tests, to determine where the bottleneck is, where the holdup is, etc. Always welcome. Guys, if we don't talk with each other, the flight becomes boring. So please don't ever be shy to ask something or say something, you know. Do it. Look, they're 50 frames now, Mac.
We're getting there.
Leighton, yes, I believe so. I'm running it right now, so we'll keep an eye out for, you know, the way it looks and all. In my other version of X-Plane, I simply can't run everything together. It's just too much, it seems. I'm expecting too much from it. Yeah, Steve, it looks nice. Leighton, too many things. Too many things.
You also have to remember that the CEO of Laminar, I forgot his name, Laminar Research, he has Austin, yeah. He has actually said on a stream that the aiming goal for frame rate should be around 30, no more, no less.
Yeah.
And that's because of below 30, it's beginning to compromise the computer, and if you go above 30 and more, it's not
visible.
optimized. No, it's not visible and it's not optimized. You're wasting your resources,
Yeah.
sort of speak.
I agree, but while we're testing, I took off all the limits. I want to see what this thing does. So
yeah.
There we go.
And I can tell you, I have the same numbers. When I'm testing, I have the exact same numbers, around 40, 45, 50. 50 at the most, best, you know. Yeah. But still, when I have 45, 50 or more, I know I can put in some more features,
yeah,
more goodies, you know.
Of
eye
course.
candies and everything else. I can put in some more.
Of course. Okay, later, no, I'm not testing a new Zebo right now. This is 16 that we're flying here, the same as you've got. Uh, this is the 7th time I'm flying this specific route. We are testing the difference between Vulkan and OpenGL, and you can follow the other streams. Some of them I've deleted. I just didn't want to keep all of them. But you can follow it on my YouTube channel. You can see what we've done over the past 3 days. This is the 3rd day we're doing this. Over and over and over the same thing, tweaking gears, changing there, switching things on, off. Because at the end of the day, we wanted to find out why my Vulcan was so pathetic. It was terrible. It was really terrible. And the quick answer is third-party add-ons. That's the killer. The next question we need to answer is which ones, but that's going to take more testing. I can't give you that answer yet, but it's related to third-party add-ons that kills this Vulcan.
Yes, sir.
Leighton, we don't speak out from the team. We've never done it. We will never do it. The big one that just came out was obviously cell call that's now enabled in this aircraft, and if we get a center controller that knows how to do it, he can actually ping us already. You guys are going to get that soon, if you're a member of the IVA network anyway. IVA is first with that. And the next big thing that we're all working on right now is the level up aircraft. I mean, I'm sitting waiting. I spoke to the team leader this morning. We're literally sitting and waiting now for either Christmas or New Year babies. We're hoping to get that 5 new aircraft out. We're coming up to Valley now, guys. This Valley VOR. Leighton, if you go to my YouTube channel, look for the tutorial of setting the EFB up like that. First of all, the bezel, the white, that's purpose made for me. One of my followers gifted to me. Secondly, if you want the route on the tablet, there's a 5-minute tutorial in my YouTube channel. Just go find it and watch it. It's easy peasy. All you need is little nav map, and you need to know how to use it, and then you can import it into here. You export from there, import into here, and then you'll have the same quick 5-minute job. So much I forgot about the anti-ice. I'm loving it. I'm not complaining. Just saying. This thing is almost not even skipping a heartbeat getting to this VOR now.
Well, I must admit, my frame rates are totally different. I've knocked my number of world objects back to medium. And it's made a huge difference, Nico. On the CPU time rate as well.
It's taken a bit of a knock. Went down to 15, but it's quick back up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but why?
It's that same space again, isn't it? As you come over, yeah.
Why?
Right, I'll see. So that's as you, where you got valley underneath.
Well, I've just passed Valley. I'm at the outer ring
Yeah.
of Valley, if you put it on the map
Yeah.
of that VOR.
But Valley's airfield is a default one, I
Yes,
think. Anyway.
everything is now default, Mac. Everything is default.
Yeah.
The difference is
1000
that
to
it
level
recovered
off.
very quickly.
Yeah, Mr. Nico.
Yeah.
In my testing, I've come to the conclusion that when you're flying over open water, there's no mesh.
Yeah.
And when you enter a new landmass, suddenly the new mesh has to load again.
Yes.
Load again and be calculated and recalculated.
Yeah, and if you look at the area there, we're coming up to a hilly area. So you've not only got just mesh, this is mesh with hills. So there's ups and downs, hills and valleys. You understand?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly my point. Yeah. And that's also especially over areas like the Alps.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you've turned off Orbix, haven't you?
I did.
Yeah, no. So it's just default scenery below you.
Default.
Yeah. Oh, I'm running it with Orbix, so we'll see what happens when I get to exactly the same space as you do on behind you, Nico.
Yeah, I can see. I'm following.
I mean, even if you change camera views, you're gonna get some differences in frame rates.
Yeah.
If you're sitting inside the cockpit and looking out, or if you're outside looking at the aircraft or whatever, it's gonna change.
Well, in that quick test I just did going to the windows, I gained about 8 frames per second just by moving out of the cockpit. So I went up to about 40 just because I wasn't in the cockpit.
Yes, sir.
See, mine's dropping off all of a sudden, Nico. Mine's gone back down. Yeah, I'm down to anything between 12 and 2032.
Wow.
At the moment, coming up. But I'm not even up to that coastal area yet. And yet after it took off, I had 40 odd. And now it's back up to the late 30s.
Yeah. Again, I don't claim to be a scenery developer. I don't know how it works. But in the back of my mind, one of the things that is bothering me is the recovery rate and the recovery processes. I am not sure if there is still tweaking to be done there, but if they can optimize the loading and the discarding of textures and scenery and speed it up a little bit, it's also going to have a huge impact. So I hope there is such a hope that Laminar can do that, you know, to speed everything up a little bit or optimize it a little bit more, so it throws away old things quicker and load new things faster.
Well, out of interest, the reason for my slowdown was because my CPU was virtually running at 100% on all 8 cores.
And that's one of the things with X-Plane that's on my wish list, and that for Christmas. And that's exactly this point, you know, that X-Plane should not load a new airport bill above 15,000 feet.
Yeah, that too.
It,
Yeah,
it simply should not.
shouldn't. Yes, that's exactly what I was talking about earlier. I just didn't use the same words, but it's the same principle. Once you are outside of visual range and above a certain altitude, no more airports needs to load, and the rest must just be dumped. Once you go through a certain altitude, they can start loading again, and only the ones that's visible, basically. The rest shouldn't even bother. Hey,
Yeah,
Mako.
well, it's sort of a range limiter, sort of.
Yeah, Mako says he believes they are tuning the pager multi-thread support. I read something like that. Yes, definitely. Yeah. Because I can tell you one thing, if I have frames like this every time I fly, I will never complain again.
You have to keep it like this.
Yeah. Well, that's why I've got the two versions of X-Plane, you know, in the two different folders. So I'll choose the one I want to fly within the reason for flying it, you know.
Yeah, but then again, Mr. Nico, you know, we are all hobbyists, and as hobbyists, this is way beyond our responsibilities to do, actually.
Yeah.
This work is really the responsibilities of laminar research,
Yeah, sure.
not ours.
I
Because
know.
I'm a hobbyist.
I know.
I'm a hobbyist. Yeah.
I know, Christer, but for me it became a problem, and my brain works that way. I want to know if there is something I can do, and clearly there is, to a point, something that I can do, and then what I can't do I give back to laminar. I mean, I've just demonstrated here after 3 days of struggling to get beyond 5 and 6 frames per second. At some points we're running comfortably 30 plus now, just because of using X organizer and disabling certain things you don't need. But I agree with you. I don't want to go through that. I want to set up the sim to look nice and to fly nice. You know, with the scenery I've got, I don't want to switch off scenery the whole time.
Oh, no. I bought this game to fly, not to act like a computer engineer.
Yeah, that's a good saying. Yeah. Paul? Oh, he's left. I wanted to hear his opinion and just noticed he's not here.
Also interesting now would be when you're entering the London area.
Yeah, we're going to see that shortly. In the London area, I have EGLL and EGKK. I have EGSS. I'm not sure if I installed Luton. I don't think I have. So it's those three big ones, airports, add-on sceneries that I do have there. Michael, it's not up to Zebo. The landing lights illuminating the clouds, if you watch my streams when I fly at night, that is a function of SkyMax Pro. The SkyMax Pro clouds actually give us that functionality. It's got nothing to do with the Zebo. You can use any aircraft with those clouds and they will illuminate the clouds with the landing lights.
I'm actually, to be honest, very afraid to fly.
Yes, you mustn't be afraid, please. Because if I fall asleep now, who's going to fly this plane?
Take some coffee.
I'll have to go make some more. Once we...
That's in. It's interesting, Nico.
What?
If I just sent an in-cruise message, and I'm on standard at 35,000 feet, but the ATC rating them at 35,400.
They're probably using local QNH.
That's what I'm on about.
Yeah. Instead of standard. Michael, yeah, go do that. Anyway, Christopher, I wanted to say, yeah.
I've now got that frame rate problem again, Nico, and I've also got your blur, that patch with the
yes,
the crease and the scenery. I'm down to 19 frames again.
I haven't seen it during my flight now at all. That crease is just not.
You haven't got orbit, have you? So maybe that's now it's gone.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, my frame rates have jumped back up again.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so
now is it this mismatch?
Yeah.
Is it this mismatch between tiles that's dragging down the frame rate because the elevation data is all wrong?
Well, it's either that or it's an atmospheric thing. Okay, if you remember, I actually got out the cockpit and I went underneath it. That thing was hanging in the air. It was like the mist was being misdepicted. So you're gonna have to check on your system if it's actually the scenery or if it's actually an atmospheric condition.
In which case, I suppose the next thing to do is to fly it without active sky.
Something like that. Look at these pretty clouds. They're really beautiful. Wow. Got a warning on frame rates just now, Krister. It's gone back up. And Mac, there I've just seen one of those tears again. First one this flight that I actually see.
And you haven't got Orbix on, have you? No.
Nope.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So if you're saying it's weather, possibly.
It's not so much active sky. You know what it is? If you go on the org forum, you'll see there are Lua scripts that's made for fixing the depiction of fog, because fog is depicted very badly in the simulator, and that is usually what it looks like if you are on the ground and you look at it in a distance. And that's why.
What height were you? What height were you when you saw that yesterday? To get below it.
I've been flying 350 the whole time, so I went down probably 5,000 feet. I'm guessing. I don't have any way
and
to
it was
measure.
above.
It was
and
above
it was
me.
above you,
Yeah.
so it wouldn't. So it won't be fog, not with the winds, that speeds that we've been getting
No,
the last 2 days.
I'm just using the
Yeah.
word fog, but it could be atmospheric scattering. It could be, you know, just the particle system. It could be a problem in the particle system. I don't know.
I'm back down to 17, 19 frames per second again.
Uh,
And look, I've got that tear there again.
Yeah, I went down. I got a warning here on Ivea, and then it just came back up, and now I'm pushing almost 40 again now.
Yeah, and now the tear's disappeared again. Frame rate's come back up.
Yeah.
That's
That
an
is.
echo.
Give me a second, Krister. That is why I asked Zebo a couple of versions ago. I don't know, you guys probably didn't know it because we didn't talk about it. We actually switched the particle system off. And we went and we did tests because of this nonsense that we lose frame rates at cruise altitude. Because I said to him, it just looks to me that it's just got something to do with the particle system. Because you don't lose the frames when you're low, 10,000 feet or below, or even 20,000 feet or below. You lose most of your frames during your cruise. Now you're talking 30,000 plus feet. And we did it, and both him and me, in the tests we did, we couldn't see any significant fix, so we just switched it back on, and
Yeah.
but it was something we said we wanted to try because he doesn't know, I don't know. We had to go and try it, just like we're trying now. Something's causing it.
What about trying going back to leave active sky running, but running
Default clouds,
you're
maybe.
the default clouds rather because you're running the performance clouds, aren't
Yes, I'm using active sky clouds.
Mr. Nico.
Okay, sorry, Christer. Yes, go ahead.
First, X-Plane has an autogen issue. It doesn't matter what clouds you're running. It has an autogen issue with a mesh or loading mesh or calculating or something. There's something wrong with it. And secondly, I'm so terribly sorry. I have to look after my wife. She got sick yesterday evening.
Shame.
I have to see to her right now.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
That's fine, Christer.
Okay, Christer.
We'll catch you later this evening, guys.
Yeah.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Just one quick one before you go. We're definitely seeing it related to this cloud or whatever it is, tearing type look that's causing a drop in CPU.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's an additional thing we have to just keep in mind. Okay, that's it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
See you later.
Anyway, catch you later, Christer. Yeah. I suppose another way of doing it, Nico, is we fly it in the CAVOC conditions one time and see what happens then.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best test thing. Just get rid of all the clouds, all the stories, just clear the atmosphere.
See, well, that would highlight whether it was mesh related or clouds related.
Exactly.
Maybe.
Exactly. Hello, William, and that sounds good, man. I'm happy you're happy. Well, so far we don't have any ATC, which is good. I'm sorry I told the fib. I just saw the tower came online. And they're using runway 01. Woohoo! We don't have to reconfigure.
Got something right then.
Yeah. Well, look at this. I mean, I'm basically at the city now. To the best guess estimate that I can make, I'm around about the city. And look at the frames. I mean, it's just usable. Drops a little bit, comes back up, but it's usable. Doesn't go down to 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. Looks funny to see it like this. I have not seen the bare bones vanilla X-Plane in years like this. Not in this area. There's Heathrow. Still good frames. William, are you still here? I hope you're still here. If you are interested, you can go to my OneDrive. The link is in the notes below the video. My file for XP Realistic for the Zebo is in there. If you want to copy it and see what mine looks like, you're welcome. Yeah, good man. Excellent. Yeah, I must say that was a very smooth transition over the city. It was really cool. I mean, we've got lots of cloud and all. A little bit it dipped down to 25 is negligible.
Nico, have you got your IVAO client running on the screen that you've got X-Plane running on, or are you
No.
dragging it off screen?
Dragging it off screen.
Right. Well, when I try to open the window AU or TCAS when it's off screen, it doesn't want to work.
Oh,
If
no.
I do it on this over the top of my X-Plane installation, on, in other words, it's on my main window, not my secondary window, it works.
No, never heard of that. Never heard of that.
And I'll tell you something else that I would like to see. You know when you do press the AU pop-up, instead of it coming up bang over the top of the IVAO client, it ought to come up, pop up beside it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You know, I got great manicure this time.
I forgot about the poor passengers. Shame. They better run. Hope they got peanuts while they were waiting. Oh, thank you, William. Much appreciated. Interesting, we didn't get a notification. Did you use the private link, I suppose? So we're supposed to get a notification here. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. What else do I need to do? That's about it. Now we just wait. Lovely. Mac.
Yeah.
I haven't actually told you this before, but it's an honor and a privilege to fly with you on the network.
Thank you, Nico.
Yeah.
Well, I set it up to try and repeat it, having done several changes, because I'm doing comparisons of what you're doing in a way, so it was complementary to what.
Sure. William, thank you. I've just verified it is there. All I can think is that you use the private link because there's two links, but it does not matter, my friend. What matters is it happened, and I'm eternally grateful. Thank you so much for your support as well.
I've gone live in Discord, Nico, as well. One thing I was just going to point out to you, I'm thinking, oh, colours on my monitor, because I'm still trying to set up the colouring and all the rest of it. Look at that chart.
Yeah.
Look at the colours of it. And I'm thinking, oh, it's got to be the way I've set the monitor up.
Well, it's supposed to be white, but it's kind of like a yellowish color.
Yeah.
No, that one's
look,
white.
That's because it's not in the sun. It's
Yeah.
the sun.
Yeah, that's baking
reflecting. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Completely changing it.
Very nice.
All these things are being sent to try and trip me up.
Right, there's top of descent, creeping closer.
Out of interest, did you? I've got a step descent at UMTUM.
No, it's because you use the auto feature in SimBrief again for the altitude.
But believe it or not, if you look at the real live world,
they probably do that. Yeah.
They actually do. Yes.
Yeah.
They get past London air traffic and all of a sudden they dive.
Well, in one of my streams yesterday or the day before, they actually did it with me. They told me to descend way before top of descent. Long time before.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, Mako, weather is a huge influencer. As long as I stay above 25 frames and closer to 30, I'm happy. I'm going to limit my frame rates after this flight. I'm going to limit it to, I would say, 31 or 35. I'm not going to let it go further than that. We'll use the resources for something else. I'm happy. I can tell you one thing. After 3 days of struggling, this is beautiful to see how it's performing now. Yes, sir, I agree. And I've just broadcasted my top of descent. I'm really enjoying this flight. I just did something stupid, Mac.
What?
I clicked on the Skymatics chat channel and I'm looking at those ribs again. You have no idea how much I wanted now.
I must admit they look very. It looks like they've got a sort of like glaze
Yes,
on them,
I
haven't
have.
they?
Yeah. I
Brown
think it's
sugar.
yeah, it's
Brown sugar glaze, is it?
apricot jam or something mixture that they put
Yeah,
on it.
that sounds nice.
Yeah.
Yes. It's definitely got a nice glaze on it. Yes.
Yeah.
Has your wife already got dinner organised for tonight then?
I don't know. I have no idea. I can hear she's in the kitchen, so she's probably busy now.
All right, go and ask her whether she fancies some for dinner tonight.
She's gonna want my credit card to go buy it.
Well, what I was going to do was I was going to say I would donate the money for you to go and get it, and you can treat the family for it.
Thanks, Mac. Thank you so much.
So go and ask her if she's in the middle of already preparing dinner or whether she prefer. And if she does, I will drop you a payment.
Okay, I'll do a quick second. Let me go ask. I'm out of luck, sir. She's already made dinner.
Oh well, another day then.
Yeah, of course.
Did it make her face light up though?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, we'll talk about it later, but we'll talk about Saturday night or something like that.
Yeah.
You'll get it. And that allows her to think about making the chips or whatever. Because you're only going to pick up the meat, aren't you?
No, you get chips and onion rings with that first picture.
Okay.
That's how you get it in a.
Oh well, she can get
serving.
a couple of tomatoes. What else was it we said that would go nice with it?
Yeah, a couple of salad things. She can
Yeah,
do
just a
that.
couple. Yeah.
Lettuce. Yeah. Look at these frames. I mean, I am as happy as can be.
I've got something else for you to check in future, Nico, as well.
Mm.
Do you remember that business about if you do a level change? Was it level change that it was supposed to update the cruise out when you implemented it?
No. It's altitude intervention.
Ah, that was what it was. Yes, of course. My mistake. I must use that next time.
No worries. Me and Zibo never finished the testing in the descent, and we still have to finish that because we did all the tests for fixing VNAV in the ascent going up, but going down we never finished that. Then level up became a thing and he focused on that and things happened, you know, so we still need to look at all that, because one of the things that I have found is altitude intervention works very well when you go up but not very well when you go down. That's why I keep on using level change. It's a much more powerful tool for me at this point in time. So I just hit level change when ATC tells me to go down. In the PMDG, for instance, I just press altitude intervention and it goes down. But we haven't finished that testing and stuff. So Zibo still needs to fix it and tune it and make sure it works. So use altitude intervention going up but not down. That's where you use level change.
Hey, I can cry if you will scold me.
I knew I read through the FCOM and I couldn't remember exactly. So.
Man, I'm loving these frames. So my next step in this model of X-Plane is going to be to enable SkyMax Pro and the real weather connector again. See how much influence that has on FPS. Ollie. Holly, I am afraid I don't know the actual file name, but I'm pretty sure it's not that difficult to find. If you go into your Windows Explorer and just put the icon view on extremely large, you should be able to pick it up just by scrolling through. The modified one will be a PNG and the original one is a DDS, as far as I remember. Or what you could do is you can just look in my install guide, go to the end of the guide somewhere at the bottom where it's noted, then just download the one that has already been changed, open that zip file up and see inside, because then that's going to be way easier to just see what it's called right there, because there's going to be 1 or 2 files in there. Awesome. Right, I'm going to ATC. Information Bravo is current 1018. Correct. Runway 01. Doesn't matter, Albapino. It does not matter. You're welcome.
Flaps 1 set.
Brussels Tower, Riley, right? 10, radio check.
Hangar 810, hello, good day, reach 5.
Thank you, sir. We read you 5. So we're on downwind for 01. We'll call you on the ILS. We're almost there. Riley, right? 10.
Hangar 810, roger.
Just thought I'd give him a heads up.
Yep, sounds like good to me. Following you. Don't make any mistakes now, because I'm going to be calling exactly the same as you are.
I'll try my best.
Well, I've tried to put it that way.
Yeah. One of my real world pilot friends and I flew into Hamburg one day. And I made a joke and I said my co-pilot's going to land the plane. And he said, oh my goodness, just don't land with the landing gear up or leave parts on the runway. Truce Bob, we were flying PMDG that day. This is many years ago. This is like 10 years ago. So we came in and he landed first. Because now, you know, he's making fun of me and this co-pilot of mine that was going to land the aircraft. All nonsense. We're just talking nonsense. And guess who had the emergency, who belly flopped on the runway? He did. They closed the runway. I had to go around and try again. To this very day, we laugh about that. It's so funny. He had the problem. He ended up belly flopping.
Approaching transition.
Yeah, it's funny. Tell you what, Mac, I've been flying online for years and years and years
Approaching
on Iveo
transition.
and Watson, and we've had some good times, man.
Now I've come down to sort of below 20,000 feet. All of a sudden, I've noticed that my frame rates have gone back up again. I'm over 40 now.
Yeah, the lower you come, the more it will come up. That's one of the strange things. It's inverted. I don't know why. Owen's left a message for you here in the chat. He says that I must tell you when I see electrical cables, the power lines. Mako, JD ground handling 6 to 10 FPS. I haven't measured that. I don't know. When Yuri is finished with the Zebo ground handling, I'll probably only use the JAR design ground handling when I fly other aircraft. I mean, I'm going to use the Zebo ground handling first. So.
Transition level. Flaps 5 set.
Yes, sir. That's true. I know, Mac is good. He can do it. He says you can fly underneath him. Yeah, perhaps Erwin will let him land and then we talk again.
Flaps 15 set. Localizer capture. Glide slope capture. Flaps 30 set.
Brussels Tower, good afternoon, Ryanair 810 again, we're on the localizer for runway 01.
Ryanair 810, good day, runway 01, wind 34 degrees 9 knots, QNH 1018, clear to land.
QNH 1018, clear to land, runway 01, Ryanair 810.
To level off.
I'm gonna do an auto land again. Why not? Let's go out with a bang.
Ryanair 73 Hotel, radio check.
Ryanair 73 Hotel, good day, radio 5.
Ryanair 73 Hotel with Alpha, turning downwind for an island approach runway 01.
Ryanair 73 Hotel, you're not in my FTZ yet, call me back when established on the localizer.
5,000 feet,
What
stabilizing.
did he say, Nico?
He said you're not
Taxi
in his
lights on.
airspace, call him back when you're on the localizer.
Runway turn off, lights off.
Just acknowledge him, tell him you'll call him back on localizer. The localizer.
Ryanair 73 Hotel, confirm, call you later.
Yeah, Ryanair 70 Hotel, call me back when established runway 01.
3 visual flight.
Confirm,
We only...
Approaching 0, 1.
Go Mac, go. Sorry, I think I'm interrupting.
No, you carry on, Nico.
Okay. 3 visual flight, we only fly IVAO at this time. We'll go back to VATSIM at some point, but right now it's all IVAO. All the flights we do is IVAO. Ooh, I almost disconnected. I want to do an auto land and I want to disconnect. Habit. I hardly ever do auto land, so I just want to see what it does now on this side.
Approaching minimums. 200. Minimums. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Oh, that looks nice. Yeah, that was not
Speed
bad.
brake up. Reverse unlocked. Auto brake in use. Knots. Yet. Great landing. You are professional.
Yeah, Ziba did a good landing there, man. Alright, let's just get over the line. Runway 810, runway vacated.
Ryanair 810 via Echo 5, taxi to stand 155 via Romeo 4.
If we understand it correctly, we need to go to stand 155 via Echo 5 and Romeo 4 for Ryanair 810.
Ryanair 810, correct.
Okay, I don't have ABS loaded now, so I'm gonna have to get this chart and try figure out where it is. Hang on, I'm gonna do it on the big screen. Easier to read. Airports. Airport. Parking. 155. Okay, so it's on that side. Where am I now? Okay. It's Echo 5. Sorry, I'm not watching where I'm driving. That's clear. I'm reading the map. Come on.
Ryanair 73 Hotel established on the localizer.
Ryanair 73 Hotel, runway 01, wind 340 degrees 9 knots, QNH 1018, clear to land.
I'm glad you like it, Popina.
Ryanair 73 Hotel, clear to land.
174. After landing procedure.
After landing procedure.
155. You won't believe it. I don't see 155 all of a sudden.
After
I see all the other
procedure
freaking
completed.
numbers. I've got 154, 156, but there's no 155 in between. Oh well. Oops. 155 is on the other side of the terminal. Tower Ryanair 810.
Ryanair 810,
Flaps upset.
go ahead.
So I apologize. I've just realized 155 is on the other side of the terminal. I was looking at 154 and 156. I could not see 155, so I just went in a direction. I apologize.
Ryanair 810, no problem. Proceeds to gate 156.
Thank you, sir. 156 810. Oh man. Next time I'll know. They've literally got that one on the other side. Oh, there's 156. I'm driving this thing like a go-kart today. Imagine the guys at the back. Oh,
You would not be the first one to do that, Nico.
I'm sure. There
Hey,
was
good evening.
a very good evening. There's a video on YouTube where the air hostess actually says that she's making an announcement in San Francisco, and she was talking about Batman and Robin getting them back to the terminal. That was funny. I recall that immediately now.
Yeah.
Batman and Robin. Right, we're on the blocks. Complete this flight. Let's log it. Ryanair 810 on the block. So thank you for your service and apologies again. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Ryanair 810, no problem at all. Frequency change approved, bye-bye.
Shutdown procedure.
Shutdown procedure.
Eck is going to land.
Good one, Mac. Now you just need to stop. Good one. That was a good landing. Very good.
Beautiful, Mac.
Very well done.
Shutdown procedure completed.
And I've got 34 frames opposed to 20 from yesterday, so hallelujah. We made it, we figured it out. Now the slow process of rebuilding the sim and seeing which of the third-party add-ons trips it. That is the next phase, but we're not going to do that as a matter of priority.
Tower clear, exit E5. E6, beg your pardon.
Dream virtual flight, it's very easy. I can summarize it in a sentence or two. Vulkan works beautifully. The problem comes in with third-party add-ons. there seems to be a massively big discrepancy between the third-party add-ons and Vulkan. So you've got this magnificent operating system simulator, but everything was made for OpenGL, not for Vulkan. So now Vulkan is literally actually a problem for third-party add-ons, and the third-party add-on guys are going to have to start a massive drive to upgrade their sceneries and add-ons to actually make it Vulkan compatible, because right now I'm flying virtually no third-party add-ons and my frames are good. You can see Vulkan operates as advertised, but the moment you start adding the third-party add-ons, and I don't know which ones yet, we've speculated about a few, we've mentioned a few, it's not really a finger pointing situation that we're in. We're literally just seeing or mentioning what we're seeing, you know, we're just repeating what we're seeing, and I mean, we can show it to you on screen as well. So my advice is, if you want to fly with Vulkan, kill as much as possible of any third-party add-ons that you might have. Use a very select few, a limited quantity. Don't just go and think you can run the same with Vulkan as you do with OpenGL. If you want to run a whole bunch of third-party add-ons, stick to OpenGL. Somewhere along the line, either Laminar or the third-party guys will have to come to the party and agree what they're going to do, how they're going to do it, and then an upgrade process will definitely have to happen on the third-party side. But that's the verdict. If you want to use add-ons, stick to OpenGL. If you want to fly vanilla like me with hardly any add-ons, Vulkan is your game. It works beautifully. It really does. I mean, this stream will forever be a testimony to how good Vulkan is at this point in time. It really is good, but it doesn't like third-party add-ons, or the third-party add-ons does not like it. There you go. Hello, Roy, and yeah, thanks, man. I think I must take a screenshot of the landing rating and send it to Ziba and tell him the code did a wonderful landing. Yeah, I'll just tell him to watch the video. That's awesome. I'm happy. I'm really happy. We did a good job today to determine the story now. It's taken us 3 days to get here, and I'm really happy we did it. But that's it. Gentlemen, ladies, if there are any, thank you for watching. Please enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to just relax a little while now. My dinner should be here any moment, so I'm going to also enjoy that. You guys enjoy yourself. We'll talk later.